Hello, Nissan Central Region dealers. This is Ryan Cox, and I'm the digital marketing consultant for the Dallas area. Today, we're going to discuss the Nissan Active Buyer Referral Program, also known as NABR, and the ways to utilize it best to improve your close percentages. Rick Shaheen will start out for us. Rick?
Hi, I'm Rick Shaheen. I'm the DMC for the Houston area. Let me just kind of give you a quick overview of what NABR is. NABR is a comprehensive interface that gives you many important KPIs to detect statistical patterns in your opportunity management performance. We'll take a look at some key reporting functions as we go through this presentation. The slide you're looking at basically gives you a quick overview. What is NABR, what you can do in NABR, who can make changes in NABR, and who can help you with training on NABR, which is your DMC team. Next slide, please. Okay, this is where you can find NABR on NNA.net. You go to My Links, you go to Dealer Operations. The fifth one down is Nissan NABR Program. Favorite it, and you will never have a problem finding it. Next slide, please. Okay, NABR has three primary tabs. Sales. Sales are your KPIs that are sales-driven. Leads are your KPIs that are opportunity management driven. And dealer tools set your parameters for your individual dealership's operation. Next slide, please. Okay, certification. Certification is very simple. I think everyone's seen this. You have three levels. Level one, over 5%, two trained sales personnel, it's $20 per lead. Level two, 3 to 4.9%, $24.50 a lead, and level three, under 3%. You will not be certified, so it will be $27 per lead. With that, that concludes the overview section. I will move to the Dallas DMC, Ryan Cox.
Hello, this is Ryan Cox again, the DMC for the Dallas area, and I'm going to discuss the NABR Sales tab. How do we find the Sales tab? We're going to hover over the dollar sign icon and simply select Sales. So that will take you into the Sales Overview dashboard. A couple things to think about here. Make sure your date is set correctly to where you're looking for what data you want. And also, make sure that you know that these three dots here will give you more explanation into what sections are available and what they all mean. The next slide gives you a little more detail. The sales section literally is the unit sales for that either month over month, the year over year trends, and then for the current month. You're going to look at your sales from leads as well, and that is going to be your sales from your NABR reported leads. Your lead contribution rate. This is the percentage of leads that are digital, or that are NABR reporting, I should say, that are closing out of your total unit sales. And then finally, your NABR close rate, probably one of the most important metrics to follow. This is going to be your combination of your total unit sales from your Nissan third-party leads, as well as your Nissan brand leads, which are also your Nissan USA leads. You divide that by the total amount of leads you received in those two categories, and that will give you your NABR close rate that Rick discussed earlier. We want the goal to be above 5%. The next tab down is your sales summary tab. This is a section that, how would you use the data? Good question. Well, this is an area that you can view how you rank basically against your competition, whether it be national, regional, area, or district. There's three key areas you should focus on. One is your average time to sale. Two is your average missed opportunities, and three is obviously your NABR close rate. The most important one there, though, to take a look at is your missed opportunities. If you see that, that is the actual units that you did not sell that you would have had you been at that 5% or better mark. So keep that in mind. The next tab down from there is your sales source tab. And basically, this sales source tab would be utilized to see the quantity of sales, total lead count, and close rate for each lead source that's being tracked in NABR. This is a great resource for a quick glance on which lead sources are best performing and which lead sources your team needs training on to maximize close rates. For example, if you see a high dealer-generated close rate, Those are your walk-in and phone ups. Those are your lay-down leads. But if you're seeing low close percentages, for example, 3% on your Nissan third-party leads, it is time to reach out to your DMC and set a training with them to work with your sales team on maximizing your close rates. The next tab down in the final tab within the sales is vehicle performance. In my opinion, it's the most underutilized tool to both dealers and Nissan field staff. This report can really help you understand your model trends and the conversion rates for each model. And finally, thank you so much. We're going to pass this over to Nick Brown, who's going to take you through the NABR Leads tab. Nick?
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Hey, y'all. My name is Nick Brown, and I am the DMC for the KCI area. I will be discussing the Leads tab with you today. So, first of all, next slide, please. So, accessing the Lead tab. To access the Leads tab, you will follow the same steps to navigate the Sales tab. However, you will select the People icon as opposed to the $ icon. Now, once the Lead tab has opened, it will automatically default to your dealership. So there is no other action needed on your end upon that. Now, from this page, you can perform a quick search by going through your sources. I will cover the Lead section a little bit more in detail now. So what does this Lead section allow you to search? Well, you have your source type, that being your third party, your brand leads, your dealer generated leads. You also have lead type. You can look at your new sales along with used and CPO. And then you have your model section as well. This is important for you to dive down into each particular model to see how many leads you received per that model. Next slide, please. Next, we're going to focus on the leads trend graph. Now, this is filtered by the following. You have your lead type, those being that's going to be your total sales leads, those total sales leads including third party, dealer generated, digital retailing, and you also have your appointment rate, response time. Now, in the example of the graph, that is automatically filtered by total sales leads and appointment rate. But please remember, you are able to adjust the graph to your preference. At the bottom of the graph, you will notice that there is a date range, which you can adjust to your preference, that being, again, monthly and annually, to view the trends and compare them month over month or year over year. Next slide, please. Next, we have the lead summary details page. Now, the lead summary detail page is located directly under the trends graph we just went over. The summary details page can be filtered, again, as all, month over month, year over year, and along with viewing the trend, allowing you to adjust to your preference. A few examples of what lead summary details provide analytics for are digital retailing leads, response rate, your average response time, appointment rate, among others. Now, these are important analytics to become familiar with, as they will allow you the ability to investigate in further detail the responses and actions being taken on your part, along with comparing previous time periods, again, that being month over month or year over year. Next slide, please. Finally, we have the transactions page. Now, this is a page that I find to be valuable and very informational. The transaction page can also be known as your lead list, as you're able to view each lead transaction by selecting the Transactions tab. Now, the Transactions tab or lead list can be sorted by lead date and lead source. I like this page as it provides a detailed view of each lead. A few examples of what this provides is being the customer's name, what city was the lead submitted at, what model were they looking at, what was that lead response, and what was the time of submission. And you also provides you with who the sales rep working that and who was working that lead and how the responses were. Now, the reason I find the transaction tab important and why you should be familiar with that is that you're able to compare the neighbor leads, and to help ensure accuracy in response, you can compare those to the CRM. And with that said, I will kick that over to Peter Saltadera.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peter Saltadera. I'm the DMC for the Dallas area. We'll be going over the NABR Dealer Tools tab. From the main navigation screen, hover over the car icons to select Dealer Tools. Dealer Tools tab is the third option down on the sidebar menu. Next page, please. In the Dealer Tools, you can make changes to some of your dealership information in the Dealership Information section, also titled Dealer Information. Underlined items such as the service phone number, internet sales phone number, and dealer website are all editable. Any non-editable items that are not underlined will need to be changed at the Nissan HQ master file level. If the submit button is grayed out, you may not have editing rights. Be sure to contact and submit any changes to your DOM. Next page. Pretty self-explanatory. In the CRM settings, you are able to select your CRM for your store. Next page. In the event that your dealership needs to adjust your hours of operation, this can be done within the dealer information section. There you may select the hours of operations tab to adjust your sales and service hours. Once you've adjusted your hours, click on submit in the lower right-hand corner. Keep in mind this will only update your hours on Nissan USA sites. Any changes on your website will have to be managed by your website vendor. Next page. You may also change what holidays your dealership will be open. This can be done within the dealer information section as well. There you may select the holidays tab to select or deselect your holidays. This is important because if your dealership is in fact closed that day, but you did not update NABR and it shows that you are open, the clock will still be running and this will affect your overall lead metrics. Next page. You can also quickly look at your dealership's certification level by clicking the lead certification tab found within dealer information. Lead certification details will indicate your dealership's certification level for each quarter. Next page. Under the lead settings section found in dealer tools, you can activate or deactivate your Nissan third-party leads. This is where you can also adjust the dealership's monthly volume of third-party leads that you would like to receive within a given month. And you can also adjust the max distance of third-party leads from outside of your PMA. Next slide. Requesting lead credit is the process of requesting credit for bad or duplicate leads, or NABR will provide you with newer, fresher leads in exchange for the bad ones. This process is important because it can potentially affect your closing percentage, and that can be the tipping point of whether or not you are level 1 or level 2 certified, which will determine your bottom line dollar amount that you will pay. In order to make changes, you must insert your personal information. Enter the lead ID found within the lead details and enter a disposition of why it is a bad lead. There is also a button to add additional bad leads if you need to submit several at a time. The criteria for Nissan brand and third-party duplicate leads are found below. As a reminder, you have the 5th of every new month to submit any bad leads from the previous month. And make sure you don't forget to hit the submit button when finished. And with that, I'll return it back to our moderator, Mr. Ryan Cox.
All right. Thank you, Peter. We'd like to thank you for joining us today, Nissan dealers. Do keep in mind, effective June 15th, CDK Digital changed to Synchro Digital. So our email addresses did change. Please make note of that. And here is the contact information for your specific DMCs if you need to reach us, as well as the phone numbers on this slide. Again, thank you for joining us. Do reach out if you have any needs, and we'll be glad to help. Enjoy your day, and thanks again.